The discovery. The great galactic civilization of the Concordat had spread across 3 spiral arms, encompassing over 12,000 worlds and nearly 40 sentient species. For millions of years, peace had reigned under the guidance of the Council of Elders, the wisest beings from the oldest spacefaring races. They had built a society of harmony, technological advancement, and cultural exchange. But there were gaps in their knowledge, mysteries that persisted despite their vast understanding of the cosmos. Chief among these was the enigma of Sol 3, known in ancient texts as Earth. Few remembered the details now. Earth was just a footnote in galactic history, a planet that had briefly produced an ambitious species called humans who had taken their first interstellar steps before mysteriously vanishing. The disappearance had happened so long ago that most considered it merely a cautionary tale of civilizational hubris. High Scholar Zenith of the Aquilan species stood on the observation deck of the research vessel Boundless Inquiry, her iridescent scales reflecting the starlight as she gazed at the approaching blue-green world. Earth looked peaceful from orbit, a tranquil marble suspended in the void, showing no signs of the civilization that had once called it home. 500 millennia, she whispered to herself. What happened to you? The Boundless Inquiry had been dispatched to Sol 3 after an anomalous signal had been detected by a passing trade ship, a signal unlike anything in the Concordat's vast archives. It was old, incredibly old, yet somehow still active. High Scholar called First Navigator Krell, his mandibles clicking with excitement. We're receiving new transmissions. They appear to be autonomous response protocols. Zenith's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep interest among her kind. Show me. The holographic display flickered to life, showing streams of data in a language none of their systems could translate. The signal patterns were complex, elegant in their efficiency. It cannot be random, said Science Officer Lore, his crystalline body vibrating with each word. This bears hallmarks of designed communication, not natural phenomena. The Boundless Inquiry maintained its orbit, scanning the planet below. For 3 rotations, they cataloged and analyzed, finding little more than ruins and regrown wilderness on the surface. Then, on the 4th rotation, their deep scanners detected something unusual. High Scholar called Lore urgently. We found energy signatures beneath the northern continental mass. They are substantial. The scans revealed a vast underground complex stretching for hundreds of kilometers. The energy readings were unlike anything in their database. Not antimatter, not fusion, not quantum flux. Something else entirely. Prepare a surface expedition, ordered Zenith. I will lead it myself. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, buffeted by winds as it approached the coordinates. Landing in a clearing surrounded by tall vegetation, the research team emerged cautiously. The air was breathable, the gravity comfortable. Earth, despite the absence of its creators, remained hospitable. Zenith led the way, following the energy readings to what appeared to be a simple hill. But scans showed it to be artificial, a camouflaged entrance to whatever lay below. There must be an access point, said Krell, examining the hillside with specialized sensors. As if in response to his words, a seam appeared in the earth, widening into a doorway. Lights flickered on inside, illuminating a corridor that stretched deep underground. It recognized our presence, whispered Lore, his crystalline form pulsing with unease. Or perhaps, said Zenith, it was simply waiting. The team proceeded cautiously down the corridor, which seemed to extend endlessly into the earth. The walls were made of a material they couldn't identify. Not metal, not stone, but something that absorbed their scanner beams without reflection. After walking for nearly an hour, they entered a vast chamber that took their breath away. Stretching before them was an enormous hangar filled with ships, warships by the look of them. Thousands upon thousands, arranged in precise formation, each bearing symbols and designs unknown to the Concordat archives. Impossible, gasped Krell. A fleet this size could challenge the entire Concordat defense force. The ships were massive, their hulls gleaming despite the centuries of dormancy. They showed no signs of decay or deterioration, as if they had been built yesterday rather than 500,000 years ago. "These vessels," said Lore, scanning one of the smaller craft. "The technology, it's beyond our current understanding. The power signatures alone suggest capabilities we've only theorized." Zenith approached what appeared to be a central console. As she neared it, the surface illuminated, displaying symbols and diagrams in the same unknown language as the transmissions. She reached out cautiously to touch it. The moment her scaled finger made contact, the entire chamber hummed to life. Lights blazed throughout the hangar, and the ships themselves began to power up, their hulls pulsing with energy. A holographic figure appeared before them, a bipedal being that must have been human. It spoke in a language none of them understood, but their translation systems began working frantically to decipher it. Protocol Omega initiated. Earth Defense Network activation sequence commencing. All systems transitioning from dormancy. "Shut it down," shouted Krell in panic. "We need to report this to the Council before." But it was too late. Throughout the chamber, machinery began to move. Automated systems activated, and the warship's engines began to hum with power. Above them, they could feel vibrations as something massive shifted beneath the planet's surface. "We need to leave," said Zenith firmly. "Now." They rushed back the way they had come, the corridor now fully illuminated and thrumming with energy. As they emerged from the hillside entrance, they saw that the sky had changed. Orbital platforms that had been invisible before now shimmered into existence, energy shields activating around them. "Contact the Boundless Inquiry," ordered Zenith. "We need immediate extraction." But when they tried to communicate with their ship, they received only static. Something was jamming their signals. From beneath the ground came a rumbling so powerful it shook the trees around them. The hill behind them split open wider, and a massive structure began to rise. A launch platform, carrying with it one of the enormous warships from the hangar below. The vessel was magnificent and terrifying, at least 5 times the size of the Boundless Inquiry. Its hull bore markings that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, and its weapons systems were unlike anything the Concordat had ever developed. As the ship rose into the sky, others began to emerge from hidden bunkers around the planet. Within minutes, dozens of warships had taken to the air, forming a defensive perimeter around Earth. In orbit, the Boundless Inquiry frantically tried to contact the surface team while simultaneously backing away from the emerging fleet. The communications officer finally managed to establish a weak connection. "High Scholar, we're detecting massive power surges across the planet. The orbital platforms are activating weapon systems." Zenith looked up at the warship hovering above them, its massive form blocking out the sun. "Do not engage," she responded. "Repeat, do not engage. Retreat to the jump point and contact the Council. Earth is not abandoned, it's defended." The ground continued to shake as more platforms emerged, each carrying vessels of different sizes and apparent functions. Some were clearly designed for combat, while others seemed built for logistics or support. Together, they formed not just a fleet but an armada, one that had waited in silence for 500,000 years. "But where are the humans?" asked Lore, staring up at the ships with a mixture of fear and awe. Before Zenith could respond, a new hologram appeared before them, larger and more detailed than the one in the hangar. This time, it showed multiple humans standing before what appeared to be the same fleet they now saw taking to the skies. The translation system finally managed to decipher enough of the language to provide broken phrases. "Final defense, Guardian Protocol. Should we not return? Earth will protect itself until..." The message cut off, but the meaning was clear enough. The humans had not been destroyed or driven to extinction. They had departed, intentionally, but not before ensuring their homeworld would be protected in their absence. "They left," whispered Zenith in realization. "They left, but they meant to return." As the warship above them began to climb higher into the atmosphere, a smaller vessel detached from it and descended toward them. It landed nearby, and a hatch opened, revealing an empty interior illuminated by soft blue light. A voice spoke from within, now perfectly translated into the common language of the Concordat. Representatives of extraterrestrial civilization, you have activated Earth's Guardian Protocol. Please board for your safety and diplomatic processing. Zenith looked at her companions, then back at the waiting craft. I believe, she said slowly, we have just reopened contact with humanity's legacy. The question now is, what happens next? The reckoning. The news of Earth's awakening spread across the Concordat like wildfire. The Council of Elders convened an emergency session, the first in over 10,000 years. Representatives from all 40 species gathered in the Great Hall on Centaurus Prime, their voices rising in a cacophony of concern, curiosity, and thinly veiled fear. High Counselor Vrax, the eldest of the Theretan species, raised his withered arms for silence. His voice, though weakened by age, still commanded respect. We have confirmed reports that the human homeworld has activated defensive systems of unprecedented scale and sophistication. The research vessel Boundless Inquiry has retreated to safe distance, but reports that High Scholar Zenith and her team remain on the surface, apparently in communication with automated systems. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. How is this possible? Demanded Counselor Mira of the Solvenites. Our archives indicate human civilization collapsed 500,000 years ago. Nothing survives that long. Evidently, replied Vrax dryly, human technology does. Across the galaxy, military vessels of the Concordat Defense Force were already being mobilized, not in aggression, but in wary preparation. The unknown was the greatest threat to the peace they had maintained for millions of years, and Earth had just become the greatest unknown in their collective memory. Meanwhile, aboard the diplomatic vessel that had collected them, Zenith and her team were being transported not to orbit, but deeper into Earth's vast underground network. The craft moved through enormous tunnels that seemed to connect the entire planet in a web of infrastructure that had remained hidden for eons. This is impossible, muttered Krell, watching through the viewport as they passed chamber after chamber filled with machinery, supplies, and more ships. No civilization builds on this scale unless they were preparing for something, finished Zenith. Something significant enough to warrant hiding an entire planetary defense system from the rest of the galaxy. The diplomatic vessel finally arrived at what appeared to be a central command hub, a vast spherical chamber with walkways spiraling around its circumference, and a central holographic projection system that displayed what seemed to be the entire Sol system in real time. Automated systems moved about, maintaining the facility with perfect precision. As they disembarked, a new holographic figure appeared, different from the previous ones. This one seemed more sophisticated, more present somehow. Welcome to Earth Defense Command, it said, its voice modulated to sound pleasing to their hearing. I am Guardian, the primary artificial intelligence tasked with maintaining Earth's security in the absence of humanity. You are the first extraterrestrial visitors to activate Protocol Omega in 498,726 standard years. Zenith stepped forward cautiously. I am High Scholar Zenith of the Ackland species, representing the Galactic Concordat. We came in peace, seeking knowledge about the fate of humanity. Guardian's holographic form shifted slightly, becoming more defined. Your peaceful intentions are acknowledged. However, the activation of Protocol Omega has triggered certain responses throughout the Sol system. The full Earth defense network is now online, and will remain so until the situation is properly assessed. Krell chittered nervously. And what exactly does this defense network entail? In response, Guardian expanded the holographic display to show not just Earth, but the entire system. Red points of light appeared throughout. On Mars, Venus, Mercury, the Moon, the asteroid belt, even the gas giants and their moons. The Earth Defense Network comprises 12,487 orbital platforms, 3,266 planetary installations, 45,000 902 automated warships, and 7 system-scale defensive arrays. Additionally, there are 23 interstellar monitoring outposts capable of detecting threats up to 500 light-years from Sol. The team stared in stunned silence. Such a military force could challenge anything the Concordat could muster. This is excessive for a species that disappeared 500,000 years ago, said Lore carefully. Humanity did not disappear, corrected Guardian. They departed. Departed, echoed Zenith. To where? Guardian's form shifted again, and the holographic display changed to show what appeared to be a historical record. Images of humans boarding massive vessels unlike the warships they had seen. These ships were different, built not for war, but for a journey. Approximately 500,000 years ago, humanity reached a consensus that their continued presence in the Sol system posed an existential risk to themselves and potentially to the galaxy at large. They had discovered something that required immediate response. The hologram showed scientists examining what appeared to be some kind of artifact, their expressions grave. What did they find? Asked Zenith, leaning forward in fascination. The complete records are sealed until certain conditions are met, replied Guardian. However, I am authorized to reveal that humanity discovered evidence of a cyclical extinction event that sweeps through the galaxy approximately every 500,000 years. Previous civilizations had fallen to this threat, leaving only ruins scattered across the stars. Zenith felt her scales ripple in shock. An extinction cycle. But the Concordat has existed for millions of years. We have no record of such an event. Your civilization is an anomaly, stated Guardian. One that humanity noted with great interest during their final days here. It was theorized that the Concordat's unusual development path, emphasizing cooperation over competition and cultural exchange over conquest, may have inadvertently protected you from the pattern that destroys other civilizations. The implications were staggering. If Guardian spoke the truth, then the peaceful nature of the Concordat, often criticized by more militant factions as its greatest weakness, might actually be its salvation. Where did humanity go? Asked Lore, his crystalline structure vibrating with intensity. Guardian's hologram shifted again, showing the massive colony ships departing the Sol system, heading toward a part of the galaxy the Concordat had never thoroughly explored. They went to face the threat directly, said Guardian. Rather than wait for it to come to them, they chose to seek out its source and, if possible, end the cycle permanently. They left Earth defended, both as a monument to their existence and as a fallback position should their mission fail. And have they succeeded? Asked Zenith quietly. After 500,000 years, surely they would have returned if they had. Guardian was silent for a moment, as if processing a difficult calculation. I have received no direct communication from the expedition. However, the Interstellar Monitoring Network has detected anomalous energy signatures from the direction of their journey. These signatures are consistent with theoretical models of large-scale military engagement using technologies derived from human designs. The implication hung in the air, unspoken but understood by all. Humanity might still be out there, still fighting a war that had begun 500,000 years ago. Why activate now? Asked Krell suddenly. Why respond to our presence when humanity has been gone so long? Protocol Omega was designed to activate under specific conditions, explained Guardian. One such condition is the approach of the next extinction cycle. Based on historical patterns, that time is approaching. Your arrival at Earth was merely coincidental with this timetable. A chill ran through the research team. They had stumbled upon not just an ancient defense system, but a warning of impending galactic catastrophe. We need to inform the Council, said Zenith firmly. If what you say is true, Guardian, then the entire Concordat needs to prepare. That would be advisable, agreed the AI. However, there is something else you should know. Something humanity left behind specifically for whoever might find Earth during this time. The holographic display changed once more, showing what appeared to be a massive structure hidden beneath Earth's northern polar region. It was cylindrical, extending deep into the planet's crust. This is the Inheritance Vault. It contains the sum total of human scientific knowledge, technological schematics, and strategic analyses regarding the extinction cycle. Humanity left it as a gift to whoever might follow them, a means to survive what is coming. Zenith's heart raced in her chest. You would share this with us, with the Concordat. That was humanity's intention, confirmed Guardian. They believed in the potential of other species to carry forward the fight if they failed. The vault can only be accessed by representatives of a spacefaring civilization during the approach of an extinction cycle. These conditions have now been met. In that moment, Zenith understood the true magnitude of their discovery. They had not merely found the remnants of a lost civilization. They had found its legacy, preserved with purpose and foresight beyond anything in the Concordat's experience. There is one final message, said Guardian, its holographic form shifting one last time to show a single human figure, distinguished by age and what appeared to be symbols of leadership. The figure spoke, and Guardian translated. To those who find our home after we have gone, we leave you our knowledge, our technology, and our hope. We do not know if we will succeed in our mission to end the cycle of extinction, but we refuse to wait passively for destruction to find us. If you are hearing this message, then the time has come again. The darkness that hunts between the stars is stirring once more. We leave you Earth, not as a tomb or a museum, but as a fortress and an armory. Take what we have built. Improve upon it. And if we have failed in our quest, then perhaps you may succeed where we could not. Humanity does not surrender its home, its legacy, or its future without a fight. Neither should you. The message ended, leaving the chamber in profound silence. The Inheritance Vault will open in 23 days, said Guardian finally. By then, I calculate the Concordat leadership should have sufficient time to send proper representatives to receive humanity's gift. Zenith looked at her companions, seeing in their eyes the same mixture of awe and trepidation she felt herself. They had come seeking knowledge about humanity's past, and instead had found a warning about the galaxy's future. We will carry this message to the Council, she said firmly. And when the vault opens, the Concordat will be here to honor humanity's legacy. As they prepared to return to their ship, Zenith cast one last look at the holographic display showing Earth's defensive fleet now fully deployed around the planet. For 500,000 years, these ships had waited in silence, guarding not just a world, but a warning and a gift. Humanity had not vanished in defeat. They had departed in defiance, choosing to confront a threat rather than hide from it. And in doing so, they had perhaps saved not just their own legacy, but the future of all intelligent life in the galaxy. The question now is whether the Concordat would heed the warning and embrace the responsibility that came with humanity's inheritance. For if Guardian spoke truly, they had little time to prepare for the darkness that was coming. And somewhere in the distant stars, perhaps humanity still fought on, a vanguard against extinction, hoping their legacy would not stand alone when the final battle came.